In 1930, a man named Emmet gathered thousands of people in an auditorium in New York. He wasn't a pastor or a guru. He was a scientist of the mind. He taught a single prayer that, according to him, was a mental key to unlock any problem. This technique was forgotten for decades, but today I'm going to show you how it works and how to apply the step-by-step process to reprogram your brain. Think with me. What if you discovered there was a way to speak to your own mind and shape the reality around you? What if every word spoken in silence had the power to alter the course of your destiny? It sounds bold, doesn't it? But that's exactly what Emmet claimed, and he wasn't speaking from a place of blind faith, but from a deep understanding of the connection between thought, emotion, and manifestation. Perhaps you've already felt that no matter how hard you try, something always pulls you back, as if an invisible force keeps you trapped in a cycle of repetition. Different people, but the same stories, situations that seem to change, but deep down they remain the same disguised limitation. What Fox revealed was that this force is not external, but internal, and that within each of us there's a hidden code capable of reprogramming all of this consciously and precisely. Imagine for a moment your life a few months from now if you could truly access this key. Who would you be if you could align your mind with the exact frequency of what you desire? The most intriguing part is that this scientific prayer doesn't depend on religion, doesn't require rituals, and doesn't ask you to hand your faith over to an intermediary. It's a method, simple and direct, yet so profound that it changed the lives of thousands who dared to apply it. And yet, despite its clarity, most people have never heard of it, perhaps because it's not convenient to reveal that every human being carries within them the power to transform everything. Perhaps because it's not profitable for systems that thrive on your limitations, to let you discover that the mind is the true temple, and that your word is the seed of the miracle. Now take a deep breath and allow yourself to question, how many years have you lost believing that life happens outside of you? How many times have you waited for an external circumstance to change so you could finally feel free, happy, or fulfilled? And what if I told you that this very waiting is the block that keeps you away from what you desire? This prayer you're about to learn isn't a theory, but a real mechanism for mental change. And the more you understand what's behind it, the more you'll realize that your life will never be the same. But before we move forward, I want you to commit to this moment. If you've come this far, it was no accident. There's something inside you asking for a transformation, asking for answers, asking for a new path. And I'm going to give you that path, revealing step by step how to use this technique to reprogram your life once and for all. So take this opportunity to like this video, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any content, and most importantly, click the link in the first pinned comment, because there I've prepared a special gift for those who wish to dive even deeper into this journey of conscious manifestation. From now on, every sentence you hear will expand your perception. Every word will open a new window in your mind. But I need you to stay with me until the end, because the final revelation I'm going to share is the most powerful of all. A revelation that can turn the key of your consciousness and completely change the way you see your challenges. So get ready, because what's about to happen isn't just learning, it's a reunion with the power that has always been within you. Have you ever noticed how the human mind functions like a kind of fertile field? Everything you plant, sooner or later, sprouts. What Emmet brought to the world wasn't just a prayer, but a way to understand that every thought is a seed cast into this invisible ground. If you sow fear, the harvest will be scarcity. If you sow resentment, the harvest will be repeated pain. But if you sow confidence and direct your thoughts consciously, something extraordinary begins to happen. Life starts to respond to you like a perfect echo. The so-called scientific prayer of Emmet Fox is named so because it is objective, clear, and straightforward. It's not about begging something distant, but about declaring the truth you choose to assume within yourself. It's a mental exercise of replacing negative images with images of victory. Does it sound too simple? Perhaps. But its simplicity is precisely what makes it so powerful. Because what most people don't understand is that the brain doesn't distinguish between what is imagined and what is lived. When you repeat internal images imbued with emotion, the mind records that as reality and begins to project it into your behaviors, choices, and even the paths that open up before you. It's as if the scientific prayer is a code, and each time you practice it, you're typing a secret password that unlocks doors that previously seemed locked. Imagine yourself in front of a thick wall, preventing you from moving forward. The more you push, the more solid it seems. But when you turn inward and change the password of your own mental system, that wall begins to dissolve before your eyes. This is what we're talking about, dissolving problems from the core, not the surface. And why does this touch so many people? Because we all carry deep pains. You may have struggled for years with the same situation, debts that never end, relationships that seem to always repeat the same pattern, a feeling of emptiness that insists on returning even when you achieve something. This repetition has an origin. The programs that run silently within you. Fox understood that the secret was not to fight the problems, but to install a new program. The scientific prayer is this new software, capable of rewriting history. But be warned, it's not about mechanically reciting ready-made phrases. The power is not in the external words, but in the mental energy you project when you declare them. When Fox stood on that stage in New York, he knew that thousands were tired of suffering, and what he delivered was not a magic formula, but a tool to awaken consciousness. He taught that in the face of any problem, you must declare within yourself the opposite spiritual truth. If there is illness, affirm the presence of life. If there is scarcity, affirm abundance. If there is fear, affirm courage and peace. This process not only neutralizes the negative image, but creates a new vibration that spreads like a wave in your reality. You might be thinking, but is it possible to change something external with only internal declarations? And I tell you, absolutely yes. Because before any physical manifestation, there is a mental field. Everything that exists in the material world was first a thought. The chair you're sitting on was first someone's idea. The most imposing building was once just a sketch in an architect's mind. So why would it be any different with your life? Every detail of it was born from images and beliefs you held, consciously or unconsciously. What Fox showed is that by applying this technique, you are taking control of creation. You are ceasing to be a passenger in your own story to take the wheel. And when you put yourself in this position, you start to see signs everywhere, doors that open, people who appear, opportunities that once seemed unattainable. Not because something external magically changed, but because you changed the filter through which you see and respond to the world. And there's something even deeper. The scientific prayer isn't just about attracting things, but about reprogramming your identity. How many times have you caught yourself saying, "I can't. This isn't for me. I'm not lucky. My life has always been this way." These declarations are unconscious prayers you repeat every day. And the universe, being neutral, just reflects back what you send out. That's why the scientific prayer is like turning the tables. You start to declare, "I can, I am worthy, I live in abundance, life conspires in my favor." And at first it may feel strange because it clashes with old memories, but as you persist, the mind accepts the new pattern and starts to act accordingly. Now, think about how many areas of your life could be transformed if you applied this principle daily. Imagine your health strengthening because you declare within yourself the full life that already exists. Imagine your finances flourishing because you decide to internally assume the image of prosperity. Imagine relationships healing because you start to see yourself as someone who deserves to be loved. None of this is fantasy. It is a scientific process of mental replacement. And to make this even more practical, I want you to do a simple exercise. Close your eyes for a few seconds and bring to mind a problem that seems impossible to solve. It could be that debt, that emotional pain, that situation that weighs on your heart. Now visualize the opposite image. The debt already paid, health restored, peace reigning. Feel the emotion of having already achieved it. And declare in your mind a simple truth. This is already resolved in the divine mind, and I accept the solution now. Repeat this phrase as if it were a decree. This is what Fox called a scientific prayer. You don't ask, you affirm the truth. And the more you practice, the more natural it becomes. It's like sharpening a blade. Each repetition gives it more strength, more clarity, more conviction. And you know what's fascinating? You don't need to understand how the solution will come. You don't need to calculate every detail of the path. You just need to declare the truth and allow the greater mind, the universal intelligence, to move the pieces. It's like planting a seed. You don't need to know exactly how it will sprout, but you trust that by placing it in the earth and watering it, life will take care of the rest. Many who have applied this method report changes that defy logic. People who came out of nearly irreversible bankruptcies to build prosperous businesses. People who found healing in situations where medicine said there was no way out. People who rebuilt families and found love after years of pain. All of this because they dared to reprogram their thinking and align themselves with the scientific prayer. But I want to tell you something important. Don't expect results if you only practice once. Just as you don't strengthen your body with a single exercise, the mind also needs constant training. Scientific prayer is mental discipline. It's deciding every day to replace the negative image with the positive one. It's turning the mind into a conscious garden where only chosen seeds flourish. And remember, I promised you at the beginning that the final revelation would be the most powerful. So pay attention, because what I'm about to tell you now could radically change how you see all of this. Emmet Fox's scientific prayer is not about transforming the world out there, but about transforming you on the inside. When you change internally, the external world has no choice but to reflect that change. This means that the real power is not in controlling circumstances, but in taking ownership of your own vibration. This is the final key. The scientific prayer is not a request to God to change things, but an invitation for you to align with the truth that everything is already available. This is where many go wrong. They keep waiting for something to fall from the sky, when in fact, the sky is already within them. Scientific prayer is looking inward and assuming, I am the manifestation of the divine. I am abundance. I am health. I am peace. I am life in motion. When you declare this with living faith, not as an empty repetition, but as a certainty, reality begins to bow to this vibration. And it is at this point that you begin to experience a completely new life. Not because the world suddenly changed, but because you changed the way you perceive it. And that changes absolutely everything. We have reached the point where everything said so far begins to fit together, like the pieces of a large puzzle. Perhaps you are feeling it within you, a mixture of clarity, hope, and even a certain thrill, as if you are finally facing a truth you have always sought, but which seemed to be hidden between the lines of life. The scientific prayer of Emmet Fox is not just a mental technique, but a profound revelation about the power that already exists within you. What was once a distant idea now reveals itself as a living practice, capable of shaping every detail of your path. Think about everything you have faced until today. The pains, the losses, the fears, the frustrations. How many times did you believe there was no way out? How many times did you feel trapped in an endless cycle of limitations? What Fox shows us is that none of this is final. No wall is insurmountable when the mind decides to align with the greater truth. And the truth is that within you already exists the seed of everything you wish to manifest. This prayer does not create anything new outside of you. It simply awakens what has always been there, waiting for you to recognize it. Imagine for a moment what your life would be like if you applied this practice every day. Visualize yourself waking up in the morning, even before getting up, choosing the image of what you want to live. Instead of unconsciously repeating the pains of the past, you plant a new seed of abundance, health, peace, or love. With each repetition, with each convinced affirmation, you water this seed. And little by little, almost imperceptibly at first, your reality begins to reorganize itself around this vibration. New people appear, doors open, ideas sprout, and you begin to realize that nothing is impossible when the heart and mind are aligned with the creative force. This is the real secret. It's not the world that changes first, it's you. When the change happens within you, when your vision elevates and your vibration transforms, everything around is forced to adapt. It's like changing the frequency of a radio station. It doesn't matter if you were stuck on a sad song, you just have to turn the dial of consciousness for a new melody to start playing. The scientific prayer is this movement of changing the tuning of your life. But there is something even deeper. When you practice this prayer, you are not just transforming external circumstances. You are rediscovering your true essence, because deep down, you are not defined by the problems you face, the debts, the illnesses, or the failures. You are much more than that. You are a living expression of the divine, and the scientific prayer is nothing more than the powerful reminder of this fact. By affirming the truth opposite to the problem, you are not denying reality, but affirming the greater reality, the one that transcends appearances and brings the invisible solution to light. And perhaps you are wondering, but will it work for me? The answer is simple yes. It works for anyone who truly commits, who decides to replace the old programming with a new vision. It works for those who practice with active faith, not with doubt. It works for those who persist even when the world seems to prove otherwise. Because the mind does not transform in a single day, but with each sincere repetition, with each internal decree, it surrenders to the new pattern. Now, imagine yourself a few months from now. Look to the future and see yourself living the life you desired. See the weight of problems dissolving. See doors opening where before there were only walls. See yourself smiling, feeling gratitude for having discovered that the power was not in anything outside, but always within you. This is the real impact of the scientific prayer. It's not a trick, not a cheap shortcut. It is a path of profound transformation, a reconnection with who you really are. And that is exactly why I want to extend an invitation to you. Do not let this knowledge die here. Put it into practice. Try today to replace the negative image with the positive one. Affirm the truth within you. Declare, this is already resolved. I now accept the divine solution. And see what happens. Perhaps the change will not be visible at the same moment, but something begins to move in the invisible, and soon the visible will have to bow to it. This is the power of reprogramming life. This is the gift that Emmet Fox left for all who dare to believe. And you have reached the end of this video because something inside you has already chosen this path. So I ask you with all sincerity, share this journey with more people. Leave your like now, subscribe to the channel to continue receiving content that expands consciousness and transforms reality. And don't forget to click on the link in the first pinned comment, because there you will find something that will deepen this awakening even more. You are not alone on this journey. Every time you apply the scientific prayer, you connect to a force that has already transformed thousands of lives around the world. And this same force is available to you, here and now. The final revelation is this: the power was never distant. It was always a part of you. What changes your life is not something external, but the internal decision to assume this truth. So, close this video with this certainty engraved in your heart. Life can be recreated starting today. The scientific prayer is the key, and you already have this key in your hands. Now use it.